Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today on this beautiful, bright, sports-filled Saturday afternoon here. We've got a huge day, a beautiful, beautiful day, as Brian alluded to yesterday. Just finally starting to get into that nice Florida winter weather here, and wow, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a big day too because the track is fast, turf is firm, and Brian, it's a mandatory Rainbow Six Day.
Yeah, a lot of excitement. Samantha said it perfectly. If you're down here in South Florida, get out here because the weather is broke. It's perfect out. Big weekend here. Next week, Breeders' Cup. We'll have a lot of things going on. But as she said, front and center today, mandatory Rainbow Six, an 11-race card. There you see it there. They're estimating well over $1 million. It starts in race 6, 3:30 p.m.-ish is that post time. It ends with a phenomenal renewal of the Our Dear Peggy with a robust field of 2-year-old fillies on the turf in a race that could go many different ways. We've all got tickets. I don't know about you. I haven't talked to you yet. I did not lose one horse of any significance on any of my tickets. So that's great.
Yeah.
Everything is intact. The tickets have been out there. We've filmed some videos and done some previews. The heavy lifting is over now. We've just got to run these races and hopefully get a price or two. I think there's races where you can
It's huge
lean.
fields, and I think that that's what's good about it.
I agree. I think there's spots you can lean on favorites. My best bet kicks off the sequence, but conversely, I think there's spots where maybe some favorites don't have to win either, and that's as a bettor, that's all we're asking and looking for.
Yep, and I love the single in the first leg, and we'll get into it. Ron Nicoletti's got his Rainbow Six ticket as well, so gang is all here hoping to put some money in your pockets before Breeders' Cup Championship next weekend at Del Mar. But as far as the opener goes, it's a maiden $12,500 level. These are for 3-year-olds and upward, a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta track. We scratched the number 2 Dynamic Empire in the 10 front traffic, kind of significant, and we'll check out your early pick 5.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it now. I've got a $48 early pick 5, 3 deep here in the opener, and again, no horse on any of my sequences came out. That's really good. Bubbles up in race 2, 22. That's the 2 there in race 3. You can see a 4x4 interior double. Race 3 is the 6 XY face. Race 4 is the 1 down on the inside, Palpito. And in race 5, I've got a single, and that is number 6. We are on the turf there, King Doro, Safi Joseph Jr. You just might as well get on the wave and ride it home right now because the horses are just firing on all cylinders. They're getting brilliant rides too, like the finale yesterday with Love Mommy Love. And I've tried fruitlessly at times to try to beat him, and maybe we'll do so again today. But sometimes you got to lean with them. Sometimes you try to beat them, and we'll see what happens today.
Well, in the first race, who did you start it off with?
Well, I started off with the 4, Frosty the Roman.
This is my best bet today. I'm not going to get a good price now with the scratch. I think the 10 takes
scratches aren't going to help you any at all. We're going to zip through these early races. We've got a lot of replays to go. But I think this is the horse to beat probably. Got to the Tapeta last time, and you can see it right there. Tapeta in 2 turns really blew up, turned into a new horse. This is the bottom. It is Tapeta. We'll see what we get, but I think he's probably the one in here.
Freakazoid was scratched a couple of weeks ago. This horse, it's a huge class dropper, but what do you get?
Well, see, here's the thing. I made Freakazoid the morning line favorite over Frosty the Roman because it's Jack Sisterson. They typically bet those horses. You see a maiden special weight here in January, and you've got the apprentice now, Mika Husbands, who's just been very, very prolific. People see that, the weight. They bet this horse. He had a trip last time as well. Those are the 2 of them. If this horse had a race in him, I would think he'd probably be almost a single in here, but he hasn't.
He hasn't, nope. And that's race number 1. We see it the exact same way. Race 2, it is the start of the early pick 4. Brian will tweet that out. It's the run back of his pick 5. 7.5 furlongs on the grass course. State bred fillies. These will be 2-year-olds going 7.5 on the grass. 52 feet, the rails here. We scratched the number 1, Smart Style. Not too much of a big scratch here, but the 2 bubbles up really does. She moves way up. I mean, she's always been the one, actually, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not picking cheese or go shocky, and it's no surprise you landed on her, too. She's got no real turf in here. Who knows what you're going to get, but I think the favorite, at least, the morning line favorite, Cheese, I think is extremely
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. That's a better word than suspect.
Let's look at the replay. We'll show you why, because she's in the last 3 races, they've almost been carbon copies of her efforts. She looks like she should have won the last 3 races, and she just hasn't been able to get it done.
Right, and these are, I don't want to take anything away from her. She has run well. Go Shockey. Shockey's going to run 3rd in this race. But these are painfully slow races. She's had every chance and every right to get it done.
You're supposed to go by at that spot.
100% you're supposed to go by. And last time she dropped in with State Breds and still couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Just not the kind of horse you want to take a short number on. It's Cassie, it's DJ, I get all of it, but very, very vulnerable today, and I think that was the right word.
Let's just touch on the 3, Brian, because I feel like they'll bet this horse because it's Paco Lopez and it's Kelly Breen. First-time starter here for the barn. Hard to debut going long, but I found a statistic for Kelly Breen that I felt was pretty significant, at least if you're playing, the early races. First-time starters on the grass the last 5 years, 18%. A good ROI. This was a lot more. This was pretty surprising for me. Not a big sample, but a decent one.
Yeah, you got to dig because the first turf, and that's not necessarily first-time starters, but the first turf is an 0 for 24 sample.
Exactly.
So it's been a while since these 3 wins. Listen, this horse might win by default, to be perfectly blunt and honest with you. It's Kelly, it's Paco. We've got ace connections here.
Right.
Good to see Kelly's name back in the entry box. He'll win a lot of races here this winter. Hey, this is a daughter of More Than Ready, who we know is, one of the most prolific turf sires before his passing. They paid $30 for her. More Than Ready stood for $50. It's not a good sign, but again, not a lot in here, and you do get Paco.
Race number 3, it's a claiming $8,000. Non-winners of 2, lifetime for 3-year-olds and up, 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta track. It's a full field of 9. The 6XY face. First time gelding for Amador Sanchez, a barn that's, what are you laughing at?
I don't know. We have the same 3 horses in all 3 races, and this horse I thought was somewhat kind of difficult to come up with.
Well, the gelding thing.
The gelding for you for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen this one since July 13th, but was a good second that day.
Yeah.
Wide open race. I think we're supposed to get a price here. There's other horses who are better than XY face, faster if you want to believe those kinds of things. But the first time gelding from a really good barn too. I like that Cipriano Gill, who rode this horse last time, is going to get back aboard too.
Talk to me about the 3. You liked this horse, didn't you? Didn't you pick him last time? And you were in a really, really big race.
Did.
Yeah.
Neither of us believe in the speed figures.
No.
Just going to say that right off the bat. But this horse, if you do, then you're going to the window on this horse because this horse ran very, very fast. You've got Edgard Zayas, who I thought was it was interesting that Edgard has ridden this horse many, many times through, a barn that we quite honestly don't know a lot about. We don't see a lot here. So Edgard says absolutely good second. Blue Spearman ran off that day too. So, this horse is going to take a lot of money.
And I think that was Blue Spearman's second win in a row too. And like you said, he just ran off. So that 4-length margin, he was clearly second best out of that spot. The 7 Roan, this is a class drop, but nonetheless. But look at the races he was coming out of at the sprints.
Normally, I would disagree with the class drop statement because those were 3-year-old races. But she's 1,000% right. You got Reese's Rolex, Icelander, or Louis the Sun King. Oof. They would literally run a lap around this field, and he's got the big figures, and that's why he should be favored in here.
Yeah, he should. And Urge to Merge, you're done with him. He does the same thing every time as well. Race 4. It's a maiden 3-year-old race. $12,500 is the claiming price. 5.5 furlongs in this spot. The number 8 Bestial is out, and now we got something different. The 1 on top for you, Tricky Post.
Yeah.
Palpito.
Yeah, I don't like the post. He does have the speed to either maybe lead or at least maybe work out a position. If somebody goes crazy from the outside, we can get out. Yeah. Second off the layoff. It was a sizable layoff last time. They bet this horse. He was favored last time in an 8-horse field, chased and tired as if he was a horse that needed a race. Well, we got the race now. He's been with the barn now for another start after taking over. Good to see Jerry O'Dwyer get a win the other day, yesterday actually. And Palpito now, I think, has got every right to move forward. He's going to have to, though.
He will. And praiseworthy, you've got him a bit further down, but if anything, he was mixed along with that group. So if you believe in that race at all, the 6 Come Dream With Me, the 2 Tapeta races were decent enough. This is the first time on the Tapeta for the 12.5 level.
Yeah, I will caution everybody, those races that she talked about, and I agree with her, they were with just 3-year-olds,
Yep.
but they were not with Lasix. So he's got Lasix now
yeah.
for the first time on Tapeta. So I kind of feel like he's the horse to beat, and that was a fast figure on the dirt last time. Yep. But again, doesn't mean at 0 for 7 with 5 underneath finishes doesn't mean you have to land there either. But he's certainly an A horse in the picks.
Yeah, definitely, especially just when your point about the Lasix as well. And definitely has a draw advantage on the 1.
Yes,
I
no
think
doubt
if it
about
was
that.
roles reversed, it would have been a little bit of a different situation. Now, race number 5, it is a claiming $25,000 on the grass event for 3-year-olds or 4 and up, which have never won 2 races. 1 mile and a 16th on the grass. It kicks off our tropical turf pick 3 races 5, 9, and 11 today. I've got a ticket. It's $36 for me. What a competitive sequence it is here, Brian. I'm spreading in this leg. Race number 9. I'm just using 3 horses. The 2 on top for me, Carlin Can, who's going to be ridden by Jerry Van Dyke. And then here's my anchor. This is not my best bet today, but this is my anchor, and we'll show it a little bit later. Ramsey Pond in the stakes, Our Dear Peggy. It's a tough race. Wow, it's a tough race. But I really like the way that this filly has matured since her debut here. This is not an easy race to kick things off, Brian.
Nope, not at all. Deep and competitive. A couple of scratches, but I don't think they were. I didn't have Steeler Mischief. To me, I'm just finally the boards hit me over the head enough where I'm just going to single King Doro.
Yep.
You're allowed to go different ways. You don't have to be enamored with this horse. I don't want to say they're giving him away for a quarter, but it's a precipitous class drop. But I just, at the end of the day, he's probably just too much racehorse.
That's the thing. Just you can make. I think as gamblers, you try to make sometimes something more than they are, and this horse just in all fronts was 1 bet in a 10-horse field at Kentucky Downs. 2 ran a really nice race here. 2 starts back. It was a huge sheet figure as well. So just on paper, this horse is by far the one to beat. Now, the number 4, Foxtrot Harry. This is an interesting horse. First time gelding. Watch out for these Sandino horses because he goes to Del Mar and he runs a few. He claims more, and then he'll wait on him. He won't run him back at Del Mar sometimes. This horse is not one of those, but I'm just saying watch that form from Del Mar because it can play well for Sandino.
Yeah, and Amity Racing too, and they've now teamed with Amador Sanchez as well, so they've got a couple sharp trainers in their corner. This is the only other horse. Yeah. Right?
Well, I went a lot deeper, but...
Okay, all right. Well, that's interesting. He's a first-time gelding.
Yep.
We know those Del Mar races are going to be better than these races right now. Not in the winter, certainly, but right now, in the summer, those races are better. So this is a big, big player. He's at this level. He probably didn't think he was going to look to his right and see King Doro. No. Otherwise, he's a big favorite in here. But I do think, to me, he's clearly the main danger in this spot.
The... Dave Fox horse. Well, that one scratched, so never mind with that. But the 1, Speed Control, a dangerous barn here, Carlos David. I know maybe not as much on the grass course, but this horse has run a race that will fit with this.
Yeah, he had a little trip too back. We've got a ton of replays to show you for Rainbow, so I didn't pull it up. He had a little trip. He was in tight off the far turn. He had to idle a little bit while waiting for room. When he went to the inside, he had some interest. But I still don't think that race, even if he had clear sailing, was probably good enough to beat certainly King Doro and probably Foxtrot Harry either.
Yep, it's a competitive tropical turf pick 3. Make sure to get involved. It's a $3 minimum, a 15% takeout. There's a lot of stuff to bet today, but I highly suggest getting involved in that tropical turf pick 3 that kicks off in race number 5. Now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we have everybody's Rainbow Six ticket as it is a mandatory payday today, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
And they're off. Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access past performances. Go to drf.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
And welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau and Samantha Perry with you on this beautiful Saturday afternoon here at Gulfstream Park. We've got such a fun day, Brian, and if you're just joining us or you've been living under a rock all week in South Florida, it's mandatory Rainbow Six Day. We've got a huge, robust fields all throughout the afternoon, and races 6 through 11 kick off that Rainbow Six on mandatory payday. And Brian, we'll start with you and your ticket.
Well, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off quick with my best bet here. You can see a $72 ticket. We've got the single there. Race number 7, a little bit of a spread. That's the 8 on top for me, Beach Party Bingo. Big spread in race 8 and in race number 9. Race 8, the 2-year-old race, I'll go with the first or the 5, Arrow Star. Race 9, I'm down on the inside with Disattached. She is the morning line favorite, but I think there's a lot more going on than just that. Race 10, Megan making money on the drop, I think finally puts her over the top. And then in race number 11 is my long shot, Unchained Elaine, but certainly the 2 Safi runners, Bella Veneno and certainly Ramsey Pond. The race goes through those 2 gals. $72 for me.
I like it. We'll take a look at Ron's now, Rainbow Six ticket, and then we'll finish it off with mine. And Ron is 86.40. We're the same way. He's spreading in this race. And I do not blame him. Race number 7, the 4, here's the kicker. That horse looks down the road today. Race 8, you see he's got a lot of coverage, just like Brian did in his maiden special weight event. And I think that is a smart thing to do. He's got Quizler. He's got Nothing Subtle, Roar of the Beast, a first time starter for Safi, just a very full field. Race number 9, 4 deep for him. He does have my top pick of the 2 Carlin Can. He does have Disattached. I must have missed him because you guys both have him. I might need to go do some bookkeeping here. Race number 10, the 1, 6, and 9. The 1, definitely Megan making money, is pretty live there. And in race number 11, the finale, he's got It's Witchcraft, 7, Ramsey Pond, and the 12, Hello, Hello, Hello. In a tough post position for the Ron Spatz barn at 86.40 play. And then ladies last, we'll take a look at mine. It's 86.40, I think. Oh, no, it's 115.20. I did add a horse. I'm spreading in this race. I have no idea. We'll talk about it. I maybe you can sway me a different way. I'm using the 2 Safi runners in race number 7. In race number 8, I do have the number 2 on top. Race number 9, I've got the number 2 on top as well, but it's a spread race for me. I did add an extra horse than I did in my Tropical Turf Pick 3. Race 10, I do have the 7 on top, Chaina. And in race 11, there's my anchor, Ramsey Pond, for Savvy Joseph and Ken Ramsey, who was very impressive breaking the maiden. 115.20 for me. And Brian, this is a race to get it going.
Wow.
We've got horses that don't want to win, horses that should win, horses that might not ever win. Maiden $12,500 level, 3 years old and up for fillies and mares, 7 furlongs on that fast main track here today. And in this Rainbow Six sequence, only 1 to Peter race. It's very exciting. The 9 on top for you. Timely Reward.
Yeah, Timely Reward is going to be a huge favorite. Like I said, I could do what she's doing and go, 60?
Yeah.
Or I could just single, and I think Timely Reward
is the one.
Is clearly the one. Now, we haven't run on the main track since May and June when she debuted against State Bred. She's run well. She's got speed. We've got just a ginormous jock switch because Edgar Zaya says, yep, I'll ride Safi for you today. And, she could... Boy, oh boy, she's 7-5 on the morning line. She could be 3 to 5 or 4 to 5 in here. We'll see if they fire and they bet her, because the problem is if it's not her, it's anybody. I'll let you talk from here, because anybody else is a reach. I think you would even admit that.
Oh, yeah. This is my long shot
Okay.
here at the 7 Shiloh. I'm not saying by any means that this filly was going to win the race, but I will say this. This was a day, as we talked about yesterday,
Yeah.
the dirt track I felt was playing to the outside paths and the closers. I don't think she was going to win, but she was severely checked.
She was. My note says she was going to be at the very best third is what I had.
Yeah, but she had momentum, and
Yeah.
it was just completely shut off. And the quote-unquote winner, New Baby, who now we'll take a look at the replay, won the race but was disqualified. So this horse is actually didn't fight fair, but has crossed the finish line first. And here's this group running last time.
Well, here's St. Joe Jet for the Thrill and New Baby. The problem with the race that Shiloh was probably going to maybe be third in, it was won by New Baby before the DQ, and the biggest elephant in the room, because she's never done anything remotely close to that.
Yeah.
The point of this replay is I think all you need is St. Joe Jet out of that race. New Baby now has reverted back to form, and that form is going to throw a 32 buyer out there, or a 17 on the sheets out there, and that's not cutting it at all.
Yep.
So now we're picking apart 2 horses out of that race, or 3 horses, I should say, because For the Thrill was behind there as well. She is going to get For the Thrill Mika Husbands. That's a big positive, but I'm certainly not going to pick West Bank. Paco will be in the Hall of Fame tomorrow if he gets West Bank to the winner's circle.
Here's the thing. Today is a day we've trashed her so much, and just in a sense of she's should have won a long time ago, and she hasn't. But now with Paco aboard, first I just gave her the big slash. I'm spreading in this leg. I'm using her because arguably you could say that Paco is the best rider that's sat on her back. I think so.
I'm not going to fight you on that, but I don't know if he gets her home in any of those races.
That's true.
Capital H with her. She's got a lot of hang in her.
It'll be an interesting race to kick things off, and I think the betting board will be pretty wide open.
I think the betting board.
You think it'll be Safi?
Yeah,
okay.
I think the betting board. There's not really many other horses you can play other than West Bank, and that's just because Paco's aboard.
Yeah. Race 7. It's the late pick 5 here. Hopefully you're not out of the first leg, but if you are, we'll look at my pick 5 here. I don't know how much trust you'll have in me after that. It's a $36 play. It is just a run back of my pick 6 that's mandatory today. Again, my anchor at the end is the number 7. That is Ramsey Pond, and excited to get into that race with you a little bit later. But race 7, it's 6.5 furlongs on the main track. Allowance optional claimers for fillies and mares 3 and up. We scratched the 1, Sophia's Storm. That's a big scratch, I feel like, for this race, because she had figures that fit. We've got the exact reverse, the number 8 Beach Party Bingo. I'm glad that you've got this horse in the mix, because you cross out that slop race. Oof.
Well, that's the thing. If you cross out the slop race last time, she's the horse to beat in here.
Yep.
Now we'll talk about your horse in a second, but that race on dry land, and we're going to get that today. Okay, there's no rain. None of that's happening. That race was wildly fast, and it's Safi. It's Mika Husbands. We get a weight allowance as well. We're drawn outside. The favorite, honestly, in a fair betting board kind of race, I'm putting her right there with Here's the Kicker. But when you're talking about making a line and what the betting public's going to do, it's not going to be the same.
No.
She's every bit as good as Here's the Kicker to me.
She is. And, we could have shown the replay of Here's the Kicker, but there's nothing to show because she just romped. And it was interesting because in her race, first dirt race with Safi Joseph, she just kind of hung next to her stablemate Stormy Matoli, who won that day, but then it was like a rocket ship leveling off, and that was a huge number. Now when you look at the sheets too, when you see a 5 like that, you wonder, are they going to regress any after that?
Yeah, I don't see her moving forward. She's owned by my racehorse. She's going to be a massive favorite because of that, and it's going to skew the odds a little bit. Can she win? Absolutely. Is she the most likely winner? Yeah, she probably is. She's facing winners today for the first time, and to be perfectly honest with you, that was a good race. Don't get me wrong. There was nothing behind her, and her stablemate's not not going to blink at that race when she throws it down. So she's going to have to run better today.
What do we do with, we can throw the replay up of Stiletto Heels in Qualificata, because I don't really know what to do with these two.
Very similar situation what we talked about yesterday. People are going to look at the racing form and they're not going to look at the video and saying, wow, Stiletto Heels was checked. She would have been right there. No, she was going to run third at the absolute best. She's a tired racehorse here. She's going nowhere. Did she have trouble? 100%.
Right.
Okay, she got sawed off there. Don't let it confuse you that she was running a winning race. She was not. She's dressed up when that race on August 11th, when she got an absolute dream scenario, when everybody blew the turn, she came through on the inside. Her body of work against a group like this is not going to cut it.
No, and honestly, with Qualificata, it really doesn't.
I've played her 2 races in a row. She's fine.
Yeah.
She needs the top 2 horses to regress. I'd be very, very surprised that if the 2 Safis don't win, somebody else does. With that being said, I'm using Ruthless Rua. If you're not familiar with the Walensky's, Sam and Herm, they do a really good job. They're another group that goes out to Del Mar. They picked this horse up at Churchill to go to Del Mar.
Yep.
Gotta win. She'll have to step it up today. But if the 2 Safis go at it, maybe early and often, she's going to sit a right trip. Patter Pop here too. This could be a live horse today.
Yeah, and I just want to note that, again, and we talked about this yesterday when we were playing Santa Anita at Del Mar, you have to watch those races because they were such an inside speed and bias, and she was on the rail the whole time down the backside and then tipped out, so actually ran a little bit against it, and that definitely moves her up. Now, race number 8, it is the start of the late pick 4. Brian's got the ticket with the State Bred Maiden Special Weights, a really, really deep contentious field. We'll take a look at your ticket.
Yeah, it's $60. It's too much, to be perfectly honest with you. But there was no scratches, so I left it as it is because these 2 races, I think, these 2 races, I need value out of them, and then all of a sudden all bets are off, and I've got a long shot in the last race too, so I was okay with this ticket here in that long shot in race number 11, and that is the Our Dear Peggy. That's the 2 Unchained Elaine. So I'll get there and then some if I can get this right, and you can see the Megan Making Money single there in race number 10.
All right, race 8, 6 furlongs. These are 2-year-olds, state breds, a really nice field. The 9 Blustering Breeze is out of this race, and number 5 Aerostar, first-time starter for Kathleen. That's bold on top.
Yeah, I got nothing clever here at all on any of these horses. I think it's a spread race to me.
Yep.
Aerostar, the only other sibling is Sunny Breeze, who is pretty good. Won on debut, earning still going almost 200, second in the Gallant Bob, a dirt stakes winner. It's a homebred. Kathleen, not always going to have them cranked, but the works here are plentiful, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Big time rider, and Miguel Vasquez will take a shot.
Let's watch the 4 Breeze of Roar of the Beast here. His half sibling is Sound of the Beast, who won second time out for Rohan. And inside is Roar of the Beast here. Now, outside is a horse named Iron Tap, who is an older horse. So I do want to note that. Not a very great older horse, but is an older horse nonetheless here. And Roar of the Beast does everything pretty easy. It's interesting to me because the dam of Sound of the Beast and Roar of the Beast was won 6 races, turf sprinting, and they keep breeding to the Big Beast, which is not grass. So I'm curious. That horse he's got a little bit of turf in him, action in him, and this certainly fit for debut. But gosh, is this a horse that can pop first time?
Well, I mean, it's Safi, it's Edgard, and we might be just trying to figure something out that's not there. Maybe this horse is going to be 7-5 and runs off. They seem to do that, but I don't know. I wasn't enamored with this horse. They always are going to work him fast in the morning.
Exactly.
I get that, but I don't know. You see, I'm going 6 deep. You were spreading too. So
yeah. Quickly, the number 2 Maddie Goal, first time for Victor Barboza. Look, there's a lot of speed in this race. This horse, there was an older work from this guy a month ago, and from the gate was very, very fast. And you get a Misael aboard here. I think that this horse has probably only improved since that work in September. But like I said, there's a lot of heat in this race. But I am just taking a shot kind of like you are with.
Yeah, it's too bad. Unfortunately, it's too bad this wasn't earlier in the rainbow. You could see the will pays and things like that.
Right.
Not going to help you at all here. But if you're playing the late pick 5 and certainly the late pick 4, you've got to check the tote board here See, because there's a slew of first-time starters that could be live, and if
Yeah.
you're seeing, we know the 4 is going to be bet, okay? But if some of these others are taking money into the teeth of that 4, then maybe you want to pay a little more attention.
Do you have one in this race that you would be okay with fading?
Yeah, probably Lawler, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Too many chances for him.
I agree from that outside post position. Now, race number 9 is a claiming $16,000. Non-winners a 2 lifetime for 3-year-olds and up 1 mile on that firm turf course, rails at 52 feet. The number 2, Carlin Can, will be ridden by Drayden Van Dyke. Fernando Hara escaped serious injury
Yeah, I
yesterday.
guess he's okay.
He's okay, yep. So that's
At Keeneland, right?
At Keeneland,
He had a
yeah, in the
spill
finale.
at Keeneland,
Yep.
but I saw a tweet where I guess
He
he's
seems
okay,
good.
but not going to ride today. But
Right.
he's had a very good year, so that's good to see him. We'll see him down here sooner
Yep.
than later.
The number 1, Disattach. Okay, talk to me about this horse because I couldn't make it. You and Ron both used the horse. Go for it.
Well, I have to be honest. I shouldn't have put him on top. He's an underlay. I do think they'll bet him. It's Fox. It's Bravo. He's got good form. I made him you can see he's a 7-2 morning line favorite. So there's a wide open race. Post position, he hasn't run since the debut race at Keeneland in a maiden special weight, albeit against 2-year-olds. But his form has been very good. I think he's still got upside. He's going to drop a little bit. Who are you supposed to take in here, to be perfectly honest with you, if you know that have any confidence in it, put it that way.
No, that's very true. I think that this horse, though, and with the rail setting, that these might leave himself with too much to do, though, and that's what
possible.
worries me. Drayden Van Dyke gets aboard the 2 Carlin Can, and this horse has some speed, and that's what I like about this horse. I feel like to have that tactical edge, it could be a good sign. The 5 Guildenstern. Does this horse have some hang in him?
He probably does.
Kind of seems like it. At least that race 2 starts back. He got a tune-up here from the Colonial race, but that race 2 starts back. He kind of supposed to win it.
100%, and that's not scaring anybody in here. But he's got the speed, as she kind of said. You want to be close in here. Crypto Man's another one with speed as well. Immense Faith should be a big number, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I liked the race back in August. On the grass earlier August. I mean, she was 3 wide. He was 3 wide, 5 wide, but he ran a 9 on the sheets. That's really fast.
Yeah, that's fast. That'll play here. Let's show Guau, because neither of us played this horse. This is Jerry O'Dwyer. But I'll tell you what, this is the only time he's run on the turf course here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
It was a win. If you're going to go outside the box, the post position is dreadful. It's as bad as it gets.
Yep.
This is his only time on turf. He's certainly right here at Gulfstream Park at this trip.
Yep.
And it was a pretty darn good effort. So if you want to go a little outside the box on a horse that I do think will be 8 or 10 to 1 in here, hey, you could do worse than Guau.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't want to take anything away from that 1-for-1 type of turf effort. Now, race number 10, start of a late double, 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta track. This is the only Tapeta race in the Rainbow Six sequence. We do have a couple of jockey changes. The 3, No Action, will be ridden by Edgar Perez. The number 4, Barbara, will be ridden by Jonathan Ocasio. And scratch number 8, Lovin' Makes Sense. The number 1 on top for you, Megan, making money.
You don't have her anywhere?
No, I do. That's still race 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was a little scared there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I do. I was scared too. I was looking at my picks.
Yeah, right. She just lays over this field in terms of class, in terms of everything.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, she's been even 90 cents, 7-5, and 6-5 in her last 5 races against way better. She's 8-5 here. She's probably going to be lower than that. I'm just going to single her and move on. She's got speed and a Amicio. Good enough for me.
Yep, that is good, especially on a day like today. The 7 Chaina, I feel like, is just in a good spot post position wise, and was played with this group. Ran well off the claim.
Chaina runs every time. You got to give her that.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
You do indeed. Now, race number 11. Wanted to leave some time for this one because it's a big one. Our Dear Peggy. It's for 2-year-old fillies. This is an exciting time of year. You are getting the separation between these 2-year-olds standing in or standing out a mile on the main turf course. 52 feet is the rail settings, the scratches of the 8 Paradise Winds and the 11 Hot Dream. I'm sure Hello is very happy about that, but the number 2 Unchained Lane is who you went for on top.
I think she's loose in here. The weird thing about this race is now we've got, after the 2 scratches, we've got 10 of them in here. nobody's fast at all early, and she's
No.
going to get loose in here. Joe Bravo reads a racing form as good as anybody. He's going to look down and say, I've got a horse that's been going 45 and 46.
Right.
She's inside. Nobody wants to be a part of things early. If I take the aggressive approach, which I'm certain he will, she's going to clear off. She's by American Pharoah out of an overdriven mare. It's all 2 turns in here. Throw out the Kentucky Downs race. Who cares about that? She's okay. And I think the flow of this race is going to hit her right between the eyes.
Yeah, if she can get the lead, that she will be very,
dangerous.
very dangerous. Let's look at the number 7, Ramsey Pond, because on debut, this filly looked like she was going to be a stellar first-time out winner. She ducked out right at the tote board and was defeated. They took her to Kentucky Downs on quick rest from August 29th to September 11th. She came back and did this. This was a powerhouse performance with the blinkers on.
Yeah, she's clearly the horse to beat.
Oh, my God. Look at her stride, too.
With 2 scratches now, she'll be a lot lower than this. A lot of people will single her. She's an exciting prospect for Safi. She ran huge there. She was going to win comfortably if she didn't misbehave in her debut. The race goes through her. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah, and you can still see it, that Irad was tapping her on the shoulder, crossing the wire. She still looks like she's eligible to pull something, but Edgar Zayas, he was aboard her the first time. I promise you, he won't let it happen again. Let's see, where do you want to go next?
Well, we could show Bella Veneno, her stablemate.
Let's show her
I've got in
stablemate.
there.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I say this all the time, you don't want to get beat by the stablemate, and this
Yeah.
happens a lot. This was a kind of a tough post from the get-go.
Yeah, she didn't have a clear, fair run of it
No.
here. And thank you, guys. Bob was out this week. I think he was getting some sneakers or something.
Yeah,
but,
something.
we welcome him back. But, when she finally gets free, you can see even here now, she doesn't have a clear go of it. And they'll finish this race in about 40 seconds or so at Kentucky Downs. You can see the white shadow roll there.
Yep.
And she's going to finally come through. This was not a great race. It was not a fast race by any means. She's got some try in her, and it didn't go all her way. That is for sure. You made the good point, the other Safi kind of thing. She might have to, she will have to class up because her stablemate is legit. She broke her maiden here for 35. She does have a win here on the turf course at Gulfstream.
She does, yeah. Well, quote-unquote Ramsey Pond kind of does, but another filly that she went out and tried winners that juvenile fillies race, so that's significant here. You don't have the 3 anywhere. Ron did, so let's just pull up a stat of Mark Casse with sprints to routes on the grass, because I just thought that this was a good thing to see on non-graded stakes.
Yeah, that's not good. Not 32%, that's for sure.
No.
That might be in the money, but that's not 32%.
No, I must,
that's about 7%.
Yeah, it was a very low.
Ask you to it.
No, please don't. But the point is, yes, there's Tappan in the pedigree, and she might be really good, but she was kind of all out to win at Colonial.
Yes, at Colonial, let's just be honest, that's probably for a guy like Mark Casse in the barn. That could be the D string.
Yeah.
Right? Woodbine here, Kentucky, Saratoga, the E string, I guess.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
If you're all out to get it done there, we'll see about here. The only thing I will add to that stat and to that, 6.5 furlongs at Kentucky Downs, that could be like 3 miles somewhere else.
True.
So she did get legged up there. Let's put it that way.
And that's you should certainly get a ton of fitness from that type of race. And being a daughter of Tappan, she should run all day. Sometimes, conversely, when you stretch them out, they have to work a little less hard. That's 11 for you today. Incredible card. We've got mandatory Rainbow 6 starts in race number 6 through 11. We got the tropical turf. Pick 3, we'll take a look at the lightning round, and we'll hit back on all of this again, Brian, because it's a very fun day here today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're inching towards the championship meet on Thanksgiving Day this year, and as we said last week, as we'll say this week, as we'll say next week with the Breeders' Cup here, it's got that kind of feel to it, and there you can see it there. The Rainbow 6, race number 6 today. We've all got tickets and videos and things like that. Ronnie's coming out shortly as well, so get involved. It's going to be a big, big pool without a doubt. The weather's perfect. The scratches are very limited, and have at it.
Also, today, the Coast to Coast Pick 5. It does kick off at Gulfstream Park today, so this is exciting. It kicks off in the disattached race, the race number 9 from Gulfstream Park. And then we've got the Our Dear Peggy. Some good racing at Santa Anita as well. I believe they've got the stakes race in that mix.
Yeah. Take you all the way till 8:03 in the p.m.
Yep. So if you're hanging around, I know we will. Low 15% takeout, dollar minimum on that bet. And also another amazing takeout, amazing wager, that Tropical Turf Pick 3.
Yeah.
5, 9, and 11 today, Brian.
Competitive sequence that ends with the Our Dear Peggy in the finale.
Your best bet today.
Oh boy, kicking it right off in the rainbow in race 6 to the 9. Race 6 to 9, Timely Reward.
I'm in the opener here with Frosty the Roman.
All right.
And that's that. And your long shot.
Well, my long shot bookends the rainbow. Best bet long shot, race number 11, the 2, Unchained Elaine. We will be in front as far as we can go, and that remains to be determined.
Yep, well, that's good on the speedy turf course, especially the rails out at 52 feet. And my long shot is Shiloh for me in race number 6. So that kicks off the Rainbow 6. Don't forget, mandatory day. We've got all our videos, tickets out. Make sure to get involved. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're here or you're watching from home. We wish you the best of luck today. We'll send it upstairs. Pete Aiello will have the scratches and the changes for you. Enjoy the day on this mandatory Rainbow 6 day.